Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I really liked that video that we watched about finding four-leaf clovers. I really liked the advice that the author gave when they said, in order to increase your probability of finding a four-leaf clover is to look at the patterns. And not just look for the patterns that are the same, but to look for patterns that are different. When I think of a four-leaf clover, the very first shape I think of is what? I think of a heart. That's kind of odd, don't you think? Well, I think of the heart shape in a pattern though. If we take 4 hearts and we put them together, do you think of a four-leaf clover? No? Well, what about if I take the hearts and I rearrange them into a different pattern? Could that look like a four-leaf clover now? What about now? Does that look like a four-leaf clover? I think it does. It has all 4 leaves and it has a very distinctive heart shape. What we're going to do today, ladies and gentlemen, is work with fractions and measuring in order to show a four-leaf clover in some artwork. The supplies that we're going to need are simple. We'll, of course, need a ruler. We'll need some scissors. We'll need a marking utensil. Remember, I use a marker only to make sure that it shows up good for the film. And then, of course, we'll need some paper to get started. Now, before we get started, I want to kind of review something with you. When we talk about that basic heart shape that the four-leaf clover is in, how do we get that? Do we see a pattern there that is repeated over and over again? Or maybe just once? What about if I fold this in half? Do you see a pattern there? And then, is that pattern repeated? Yes, it is. It's repeated when we take a piece of paper and we fold it in half. We take our scissors and we cut up in a partial circle and then back around and then down into a point. And that's how we get our pattern of our loop and our straight angle. Okay? Now, in order to get that repeated over and over in a paper, we're going to have to do a little bit more work. We're going to start with a piece of paper. Okay? And we need to go ahead and we need to turn this what? What shape is this? Raise your hand. That's right. It's a rectangle. We need to turn this rectangle into a square. So what we're going to do first is we need to measure. If I put my ruler down and remember to start at the 0, not at the end, I find that this paper is about 5 1/4 inches wide. Right here is the 1/4 mark. Let me put a little mark here. 1/4. That's, oops. I made a mistake. This is the 1/4 mark. This is the half, and this is the 1/4. So in order to make a square where all sides are even, I have to make this length on this side. I have to make this side match this side. So if we say it's 5 1/4, if I start at the top and I measure down, starting at the 0, not the end, I will find 5 1/4. I will make a mark on this side. If I come to this side, remember we did this for the leprechaun beard. Do you remember? I will start at 0, not the end. Find my 1/4 mark, 5 1/4, and make a dot. I will then use my ruler to connect the dots to make sure the line is straight. Here I go. There is my square. I can take the square now and cut it out. Now, some of you may say, but Miss R, I'm really not good at measuring. Can you please give me a different way to do it? Sure. If we need to make this side the same as this side, no matter what the length is, I have a special magical way if measuring's really too hard. If we take and we fold the paper over so that this side matches up perfectly with the long side you want to cut, fold it down, you'll know exactly where you want to cut. And you can mark it. And then you can cut it. So that's a little trick, just in case you don't have a ruler, or if you really don't measure that well, you still can have a line. I'm going to go back to this. Now, when we look at our shamrock or our 4-leaf clover, we'll see it has how many leaves? 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. So that says that we have to fold our paper into how many pieces? 2, 3, 4. That's right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it how many sections are there now? 1, 2. Very good. Now if I fold this again, how many sections will there be? Raise your hand. Let me fold it. Good guesses, guys. Good guesses. All right. I folded it again. I'm going to open it and we'll count. How many sections are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect for a 4-leaf clover. Now, in math terms, we'll say that we folded this into quarters. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. Very good. So let me fold this back up again, like a hot dog, then a hamburger. You guys remember that. Now I'm going to get really fancy because I have to make this heart shape. And the best way to do this, to fold it so that I can get a heart shape, is to take it and to fold it on a diagonal. If I fold this on a diagonal, what shape do you think I'll get? Very good. You're right if you said, I'm going to get a triangle. Very good. Now, we have this triangle shape, and if we unfold our paper again, because we took 4 and we folded it. How many shapes, how many sections do you think we're going to have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's right. If you take 1/4 and you cut it in half by folding it, you will get 1/8. We will fold it again and again so that we have our triangle. We're going to take our scissors now and cut. You don't want to start all the way down here because it'll break. And you want to cut so that the folded edge is being pinched by your thumb. You don't want to cut that folded edge. You want to cut the loose edge. You're going to start about halfway up. Cut around in a kind of like a semicircle, a half circle, but then you're going to come all the way down and make your heart shape. Look at that. It's a half a heart. So when we open it, here's a half a heart. Here's a whole heart. We're going to open it again. And then open it again. And there is our shamrock. Now, it's going to be up to us to color and decorate our 4-leaf clover. We can use crayons. We can use glitter. We can decorate it with our names and hang them or put them up on the windows. But what we really want to do, what I'd like to see you do, is take a moment, and I'm going to use, a fancy red color, just because I want to be different. I want you to take a minute and color the outline of at least 1/4 of your shamrock. Can you do that? And then if you want to get super fancy, you can do each 1/4 or 1/4 a different color. And you know me, I kind of like things when they're sloppy colored, when they're not completely covered in. It just makes it look more artistic. But if you want to be perfect, you can. Make sure that you turn over your project before you leave. And put what on it? What should you put on it? What do you think I want on this? Raise your hand. You're right, your name. Okay, make sure we fold it in half and write your name. Miss R. And then when we're finished, we're going to do more math, like seeing which is 1/2, 1/4, and a whole shamrock.